You're in your late 40s and 50s, built a wildly successful life, but you find yourself asking, who am I? I believe you simply cannot experience the fullness of all that life has to offer if you respond or live from your wounded self. If you have never experienced the warm, open heart of the healed feminine, you are missing the biggest part of life. Today we explore sisterhood and community and why we should find belonging. Welcome to Her Second Stage, the podcast dedicated to inspiring successful women in the next stage of their lives. I'm Hilda Lunderstedt, and I'm excited to share the lessons I've learned as I transitioned into my second stage. Join me on this exciting journey of sisterhood and remembering who we are at our core. Remember, no matter where you've been, the best is yet to come. Today, I want to discuss a topic that's close to my heart, finding your community and belonging. So you've hit your late 40s and maybe your 50s like I am. You've built an incredible life. You've experienced career and business success, raised a family, and achieved personal goals that for many seemed out of reach. But life changes are coming at you from all sides. Your body's changing, your hormones are changing, and some days you might not even recognize the face looking back at you in the mirror. If you can relate, today's episode is especially for you. We're diving into the importance of community and belonging, and how finding your tribe can help you thrive through this chapter of life. My journey has been an incredible one. From pharmacist to building and exiting a very successful healthcare business, now migrating to energy and somatic healing, and more recently integrating psychedelics into transformative healing practices. What I've learned on my journey is the importance of a tribe and a sense of belonging. We experience so many changes in this stage of life. Perhaps you find that you've outgrown your friends or even family. Perhaps you've moved to a new area and in general experiencing life's changes that leave you feeling isolated. If you've lost that sense of community and connection along the way, I hope this episode inspires you to seek it out. Whatever you're navigating right now, remember, you are not alone. Let me share a little bit of my story. In 2018, I moved from South Africa to Texas. It was exciting and full of promise, but I'll be honest, there were so many days that I felt lonely. Making friends as an adult is hard. I had to put a lot of effort to build this new life, not just for me, but also for my children. It wasn't until I found my community, my tribe, that things started to feel like home again. Knowing what loneliness feels like, I'm launching this initiative to create a sisterhood community for successful second stagers. We simply do not discuss this topic enough amongst women our age. We're so busy juggling careers, families, relationships, and the pressures of everyday life that we sometimes neglect the importance of true connection. We have friends, sure, but do we really have belonging in the deeper sense? So let's talk about belonging for a minute. What does it mean to truly belong? Why is it important? And how does it impact our personal growth and healing? If we look at the word belong, it's the combination of the two words be and long. Be states that you must be in a place or space. You must be yourself and you must be authentic. And long means you need to be there for a period of time or regular. It's not sporadic presence. You need to be consistent over time. One day you'll realize I belong. And boy, what a feeling that is. I talk about healing a lot. And what I mean by healing is not just the physical health. I'm talking about mental and emotional scars that we built up over the decades. By the time we hit our 40s and 50s, we've been through a lot. Children, traumas, disappointments, relationship breakdowns, career struggles. We faced it all. And most often, we pushed it all down, pretending everything is fine, while it continued to affect our choices and our senses of self. When we belong, and when we feel part of a community, we start to heal those wounds. We stop running from ourselves and start seeing who we really are. We experience being accepted, being valued, and being loved for who we are. That brings me to the difference between fitting in and belonging. And it's also very important to understand the difference. Fitting in often means we have to change ourselves, adjust our values, opinions, and sometimes even our appearance to be accepted. We adapt to meeting the expectations of a group. But belonging is different. Belonging means being accepted exactly for who we are without having to change any part of ourselves. It is about unconditional acceptance. As women, we are so sensitive to the opinions of others, especially other women. Society has taught us to compete with each other instead of supporting one another. We mold ourselves to fit into professional spaces that weren't designed with the feminine in mind. I still remember one of my first board meetings about 10 years ago, where I was the only woman in the room. During a coffee break, the men all looked at me as if I was expected to serve their coffee. Realizing this, I made a quick decision and said with a smile, "Yes, I would like a cup of coffee too." That moment wasn't just about defying their expectations, but it was about claiming my space in a room where I didn't need to fit in, but I deserved to belong. Studies have shown that having a strong sense of community and social connection is one of the key factors of living a long and healthy life. Connectedness adds meaning, love, and joy, which directly impact our mental health, reducing feelings of loneliness and depression and anxiety. Women have always thrived in community. From the beginning of time, women of the tribes gathered in villages to prepare food together, take care of each other's children, and support each other during difficult times. Imagine a world where we are like that with each other again. On the contrary, we see that if we try to do this alone, how it would trigger our survival instincts, always on alert. If you have to handle this jungle that we call life all by yourself, vulnerable and unsafe, you will be scared of every sound, every rustle, and every tweak. You are not able to focus on anything else but yourself and your ability to survive, and you'll find it impossible to relax within your body or nervous system. This is the unhealed, unsupported states many people find themselves in. When our nervous system is in a state of constant activation, it's very hard to listen to your heart to know what it wants. So many women are proud of themselves, however, for how hypervigilant and hyper-independent they are and for not needing anyone. I was like that too. I now understand that those are always stress and trauma responses. We choose to be super independent as we are scared to be vulnerable because vulnerability means we open ourselves up for hurt by someone else, or we are scared to appear weak and we don't want to ask for help. On the contrary, when we are part of a community, we will feel safe exploring our vulnerabilities and work through our challenges. That can lead to significant personal development and emotional healing. If you find yourself saying, "Yes, that is me. I'm totally hyper independent or totally vigilant all the time," I want to ask you to explore and open yourself to the possibilities of how it can feel when you have community, and perhaps admit that you need community and find somewhere where you can create safety and belonging. Being in a community where you are understood and accepted also allows us to share our own experiences. And when we share our own experiences, we help other people. Feel how that feels in your body and in your nervous system. It doesn't just help us to heal, but it fosters deeper connections with others. And that creates a cycle of, if I heal, you heal, and then the collective heals. My story of self-isolation is one of my biggest mistakes I've made during a difficult phase of my life. When my marriage ended in 2011, I felt like I had lost my identity overnight. I wasn't a wife anymore. I wasn't part of a couple. I lost many of our friendships that came with that relationship. I felt shame that my marriage ended, and I felt isolated and unworthy. Instead of reaching out, I withdrew further into myself. The shame and self-judgment about my failed marriage I experienced kept me from seeking support I desperately needed. Looking back now, I realize how much I needed community during that time. The right tribe would have given me the support and encouragement that I needed. I didn't seek it out. I hid all my pain and hurt from the world, and I struggle alone. And if you're going through something similar, my advice to you is don't make the same mistake. Healing doesn't happen in isolation. Transformation happens when we feel seen, heard, and valued. When we're part of a community that supports our growth, it becomes easier to face life's challenges. It's in those moments of belonging that we find the courage to grow, to heal, to step into the next phase of our lives with confidence. I believe we all need to experience sisterhood, a supportive group of women who uplift each other. Unfortunately, many of us carry what I call the sisterhood wound, that sense of distrust or competition amongst women, as we've been hurt by women, and often those women we trusted the most. Over the years, I've learned that women who have done their self-work and their own healing work will never hurt another woman as she sees her as a sister. Instead, it's the unhealed feminine that comes from her wounded self that does not allow herself to trust or to be trusted by others. Through belonging in the right community, sisterhood can be created, and in sisterhood, we lift each other up, not tear each other down. We provide space for each other to be vulnerable, to be authentic, without fear or judgment. After all, she's a sister, not a rival. This kind of support helps us to take risks, face our fears, and ultimately grow stronger as a person. If you're feeling disconnected and isolated right now, I want to encourage you to find your tribe. Find people who are on a similar path of growth, who share your values and are committed to creating a safe space and lifting each other up. We all need an environment like that to thrive and should work on creating and participating in creating this in life. This is a safe container for each other. When we belong, we heal. And when we heal, we transform. The most basic human need is to be seen, heard, and valued by our peers and by other women. The sense of being seen, heard, and valued is the foundation of transformation. Our confidence grows, and with it, our self-empowerment. Self-empowered people who have done their own personal growth and shadow work are less likely to judge others and are capable of more compassion and empathy in comparison to people who have not done the self-work. The judgment towards others are from judgments towards themselves. Remember, people don't respond to you because of who you are, but who they are. I want to invite women who feel they have unhealed wounds and cannot trust or are not trustworthy to not damage other women around them, to reach out to me to see if I can help you, and if not me, please seek someone to hold space for you. I believe you simply cannot experience the fullness of all that life has to offer if you respond or live from your wounded self. If you have never experienced the warm, open heart of the healed feminine, you are missing the biggest part of life. One of the female archetypes I love the most is the wild woman archetype. She's in all of us and represents our true, untamed nature. Us following our instincts, our creativity, and enjoying our inner strength. She's all about embracing who she is at her core, and she lives authentically. If you are living in your authentic self, you give other women the permission to do the same, and that gives everyone the power. Women will hardly ever thrive by herself. When we connect with others who's on a similar journey, we find our strength, our inspiration, and we become closer to our inner world again. This is why I decided to create this podcast and this community. Join me and let's share our experiences, our knowledge, our wisdom, and create an amazing community of women who are ready to create their best second stage. This stage of life is about finding our tribe where we can share, grow, and support each other. My dream is to create a safe space of belonging for successful women who give so much to the world and just to have a place to breathe where you can just be. Whether you decide to join the community or not, remember, you are not alone on this journey and in this stage of life, nor do you have to battle it alone. I want to urge you to find your tribe and find your belonging. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if I may ask, please like and share the podcast with other women to bring them into our community. Connect with me on social media at Her Second Stage and find more information on the community for women just like you on www.hersecondstage.com. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this one last thought. You don't have to do this alone. Whether you're navigating menopause, a new empty nester, career transitions, or just the overwhelming sense that life is shifting, there is a tribe for you out there.
Let it ride.